culture is competitive, man.
Right.
It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It just don't make sense.
Eminem and 50 Cent have formally joined forces, and they have no qualms about taking aim at Jay Z. They're pointing out a number of serious accusations: dubious business dealings, credit theft, award show manipulation, and even a purported career path that has been destroyed. This is no longer only background noise. Now, it appears to be a 5-alarm fire. 50 Cent is making it known that Jay Z is still attempting to obstruct his commercial ventures.
Well, that vote is fake as f. That's not a real vote. That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to their darlings.
Cowboy Carter. Beyonce.
In 0-5. Additionally, Eminem has been warning everyone for years about the true gloom and filth of this music business. M has been sneaking those mysterious bars into his tracks lately. Subliminal clues that strong gatekeepers are operating behind the scenes. However, it doesn't stop there. Beyonce's name is also being dragged into the tidal wave. She is being seriously accused of blackballing other female players and taking songwriting credits. Individuals are pointing fingers and mentioning names such as Carrie Hilson, Mary J. Blige, Maya, and Aaliyah. Women were speaking out, but then they stopped and everything fell silent.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones.
Concerns are being raised once more by Jay Z and Beyonce's close relationship with Diddy. People are really beginning to inquiries. It's possible that Jay Z avoided Jane Doe's lawsuit. However, the purported victim is now making grave indications. She claims that immediately after a very dubious person knocked on her door, she felt under pressure to keep quiet. That is really frightening stuff. The true question is now being asked by everyone: are Jay Z and Beyonce truly the ideal power couple that the public sees them as? Or are they simply experts at hiding every mess when no one is around? Have they been stepping over people to remain at the top while sitting there? And do Eminem and 50 Cent actually possess inside knowledge? Are they going to expose a system that has been destroying artists' careers and possibly putting lives in danger?
So I think they still harbor some energy towards me.
You think you were purposely left out of the ad?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I think that they were saying the NFL had some issues with me that I don't know what those issues are. Like, what is the issue? You start looking at that's not mine. That's theirs. They harbor it, right? But when you look at M is looking at the entire legacy.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like with M, Dre, and myself, like I'm a shady aftermath. You see what I'm saying? Like there's so much G in it, Junior Records.
Right.
They forget that I'm M and Dre's.
Jay and by were untouchable for years. When you say something negative about them, there is an immediate blowback. People phoning you resentful or envious. Additionally, 50 Cent received the receipts to support everything this time. In 2023, 50 asserted that Jay Z attempted to use his NFL connections as pull strings behind closed doors in order to prevent him from playing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Crazy, huh? However, this is where everything truly went wrong. Jay's entire strategy completely failed since Eminem wouldn't have it.
Sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but there was the difference. And that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows, and
Which they do. They
Is that
do
what?
it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win Album of the Year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal now.
Jay's willingness to go to great lengths to keep 50 Cent out of the spotlight was made clear by that audacious move alone. Now, hurry. Let's go ahead to Cameron's recent appearance on 50's Talk with Flea, and he's criticizing Jay Z once more. 50 claims that Jay is still out there doing shady things behind the scenes, in boardrooms as well as the music business. This is the most absurd part. 50 claimed that Jay Z had previously demonstrated all of his points.
Oh boy was doing with the Super Bowl, because he was doing like
Yeah, go
He
ahead.
was doing some wild because he was saying that to Eminem that the NFL had the issue with me. And I'm like, well, what's the issue? Why don't I have an issue when I'm becoming a partner in the actual team, but they got an issue with my performance, right? Makes no sense. You know what I mean?
I was going to get to that later, but since we're here now. And when he says "oh boy" for the audience, that
Yeah, it's Jay.
I'm talking about Jay Z. This was discussed before. Jay Z told Dr. Dre, just for people who's not up on this, or Eminem, that he didn't want you to perform part of that Super Bowl they had a couple years ago. Why do you think that is?
Well, I just think,
Threatened?
yeah,
Possibly?
not even threatened. You know, I think it's just when you take the competition from. Like our culture is competitive, man. It is, but I think when it goes past the music itself to blocking things in business, then I don't understand that. Like right now, he's not even competing for a slot. You don't have a new song out that he want to be on the top 10 or top 5, and you still competing. It don't make sense. Like what are we competing for? What's the goal? Like this even like a lot of even a lot of the competitive stuff, or what we would call it beef, right? It changed. That terminology changed when it's Biggie and Tupac, because we start saying the things that people would say that cause beef in the environment. When before that they called it battling in our culture. Right. Because that's what it is until it turns into some street shit. So when you're not competing for those things anymore, and you start looking and you're going, so what was the problem? You can't exactly remember what the problem was. That's what went through.
And however, he is supposedly still out there attempting to sabotage business transactions in the 50s out of sheer resentment. Like, he simply cannot give it up, and believe me, it goes beyond that. Eminem and 50 Cent are now collaborating closely, preparing to expose what they claim is outright Grammy manipulation. 50's accused Jay Z of using his marriage to Beyonce as a kind of cheat code to win prizes, and they point the needle directly at him. Eminem, meanwhile, has been screaming for years that the Grammys are a fraud, a pay-to-win system in which genuine talent is completely irrelevant. Furthermore, not everyone applauded when Beyonce eventually won Cowboy Carter Album of the Year, particularly since the previous year. Fans began speculating that Jay had pulled strings once more.
Andre Young, thank you, sir. All the doors that you opened, showed us that we can be rock stars. Seeing you on the Rolling Stone. Obviously, there's Run DMC with the Leathers and the Aerosmith. But when you came out west, you took it to a whole new level. Some of you don't belong in the category. Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
He blasted the Recording Academy for ignoring his wife as he jumped on that Grammy stage. But it gets even worse from here. Stranger Jay's remarks were not being accepted by the crowd. Even though he was scolding the same people who gave him the medal, it felt strange and phony. People were posing the question, why even attend the Grammys if they are truly that biased? Instead of pleading for their acceptance on stage, why not just turn away and demonstrate that you don't need it? People were talking even louder because of the entire atmosphere. Is it just extortion and high-dollar transactions going on behind the scenes? Or are the Carters actually amassing prizes via talent? Insiders have said for years that talent isn't the main focus of the Grammy Awards. It all comes down to business, politics, and covert handshakes. And one of the loudest voices calling it out has always been Eminem. Em has long maintained that the entire Grammy system is a fraud. He meant it too. He even vowed never to appear again. And that's what he did. Don't get it wrong though. The fact that Eminem lost doesn't make him a bad person. If another artist really dropped a better album than him, he'd respect it. He stated unequivocally, the way the Grammys pronounce his name is what he finds most offensive. To increase views and ratings, they exaggerate Eminem, feature his face throughout the advertisements, and give the impression that he has a genuine chance to win a trophy. Then, when the concert comes around, he abruptly leaves as if he had never been considered. All day long, smoking mirrors. And Em didn't even bat an eye when someone asked him if he would ever think about returning if he joined the Grammy voting crew. Claimed that nothing would change. Why? He claims that everything is rigged.
50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had. and then he doesn't get it. And then I get up there another year, and what was it, the Eminem show? And it was like, whatever, I'm fine if I lose to Kanye or someone that I'm like, okay, I respect that. I know who that is, and Kanye has a huge following and he's made a massive impact on music. Fine, I'm good with that. But don't get us all here to use your selling point for your show and stiff everybody every single time. And I said, after that point in time, I was like, don't ever ask me to here again. Please do not ask me. My answer is no for 100 million years. Never again will I go to
Those votes are meaningless. 50 Cent is riding just next to him at the moment, further disparaging him. He's not merely accusing the Grammys of being rigged. 50 categorically stated that Jay-Z's victories had nothing to do with music. 50 claims that Jay's marriage to Beyoncé is the reason he is receiving so many accolades. He asserts that the Recording Academy is aware of the situation. Jay and Bey will receive those awards as long as they appear. The cameras flash, the ratings soar, and all of a sudden, the entire show is trending worldwide. What's the next step, then? Continue to nominate Beyonce and Jay. Continue giving them prizes just to ensure that the power couple steps up and takes center stage. However, 50 Cent was not finished, not even close. He went in even more forcefully at his most recent appearance on the Outrageous podcast. Jay-Z's entire empire, all those Grammy trophies, isn't really about raw talent, 50 stated bluntly. It all comes down to his spouse. 50 didn't stop there, either. Additionally, he categorically referred to Jay and Beyonce's partnership as a contract. He implied that they might simply be maintaining their composure for the sake of the deals, the prestige and the power it bestows. Crazy, huh? Not all 50 people agree that Jay is using dishonest tactics to maintain his position of power. Insiders have been speculating for years that Beyonce and Jay-Z had intentionally barred other artists. Why? Easy, therefore. No one else is exceptionally intelligent. Thus, they consistently emerge victorious, always a primary focus. Then there is a sinister tale of Uncle Ron, Beyonce's ex-bodyguard. Uncle Ron spoke out before he died of pneumonia, claiming to have receipts, verifiable evidence that Jay and Bey squash rising stars, wreck lives, and destroy careers, all in an effort to secure their own reign. I knew too much, he claimed. Let's just say that there was a lot of conversation about the timing of his passing. And in the middle of all of this, how could we not bring up Jaguar, although she was once Jay-Z's backing vocalist? She is now one of his most vocal and vehement detractors. The Jaguars have been leaking a lot of information, saying that those close to Jay, including Big L, the legendary player from Harlem, either inexplicably passed away or saw their careers end at the same time that Jay was exploding. We should take a moment to halt and discuss Big L. Big L, a true lyrical monster renowned for his insane freestyles, was one of Harlem's biggest performers in the early 1990s. His name was bouncing across the streets. After signing a contract with Columbia Records, he released a debut that caused quite a stir. And Big L wasn't prepared to give up. Even when Columbia released him, he started his own record label and was moving in a big way. Dame Dash, a co-founder of Rockefeller, began to take notice at that point. At last, Huge L was setting up that huge break. However, tragedy struck just as his career was ready to take off. Big L was shot and killed during a drive-by in Harlem on February 15, 1999. And the case remains unresolved after all these years. No answers, no justice. However, if you ask Jag, you're right, she isn't hiding anything. She firmly believes that Jay-Z may have been involved in it. That is the type of suspicion that is currently circling his name.
The first time I ever saw Jay-Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. But he didn't show up as Jay-Z. He didn't show up as the hottest rapper on the street. He showed up as that was with Big L.
Rest
For
in
those
peace.
of you.
Rest in peace, Big L.
Rest in peace, Big L.
One of the
That was the
dopest.
sensei.
One of the dopest. Yes.
Big L was who put Jay-Z on.
Without question.
And then Big L died, and then the next thing you know, Jay-Z.
And moving on from one icon to the next, it's time to give DMX more attention. DMX was one of the only rappers besides 50 It was Cent who had the audacity to confront Jay-Z directly. Jay was usually described by DMX as resentful, envious, and cunning. Additionally, things became quite chaotic in 2004 when Jay was elected president of Def Jam. Def Jam had been tightly restrained by DMX. 5 consecutive #1 albums from 1998 and 2003.
okay, I see what's really good. You're trying to eliminate the competition. You know, because at first you retire, you know, then get me off the label. Now you're back rapping again. Okay.
However, when it came time for him to release Year of the Dog, his sixth project, DMX asserted that Jay Z intentionally poised on it in order to make room for his own return. Control is the key to straight power moves.
The game is bullshit, man. The game is bullshit. If you want to rap or sing or whatever, don't become a part of the game. You know what? Listen to a song I called The Industry. And that pretty much explains, what it's about, the industry. Man, it's not the same. The industry, it's not a f***ing game. The industry, real is dying to get in. The industry, just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that. But I'm going dress like this and talk with the gap. The industry.
And the drama continued when DMX upended the industry in 2005 with a song, where he laid everything, completely revealing the dubious activities taking place behind closed doors. The most bizarre portion comes after. The majority of the topics that DMX discussed back then are still relevant now. Even an industry insider, Irv Gotti, put it bluntly, DMX made Jay Z jealous. According to Irv, Jay and his tutor Leor Cohen used to chuckle in the background, believing that DMX would never become famous. However, X disproved them without a doubt. Jay's name doesn't end there, either. Additionally, it continues coming up with Beanie Sigel. Beanie remarked about how he felt like someone was holding him down all the time by tugging threads. According to him, Beanie's numbers would never rise to high since Jay Z would release his own records around the same time as Beanie's, drowning the spotlight. It seemed as though Beanie could only ascend so far and never higher than a predetermined threshold. Indeed, Beanie Sigel acknowledged that he had made mistakes, particularly in relation to his legal troubles.
One man could destroy another man's life. It's ultimately in your own decisions. You know, I had a lot of issues. Like I said, legal issues at the time. And, you know, my mind wasn't where I'm at now today. Like, I used to have questions like why every time my album dropped, Jay would drop right on top of me. He wouldn't let me breathe or right before me. Like, I was always close. And I never understood that every single album that I dropped, Jay dropped right on top. And it was like, damn, like to have in-house competition at that magnitude was crazy. Jay already the boss, but I always thought that, like, let me breathe. But he was really explicit about it. Jay-Z's dubious actions weren't a coincidence. Beanie claims that each and every step Jay's decision was well thought out. Furthermore, let's not act as though Beyonce is innocent of any wrongdoing. The notion that she is only Jay's puppet is still promoted by certain admirers, but it isn't a credible one. Beyonce could not have stood by Jay-Z's side for all these years without being a part of the plan. If anything, they have apparently been operating side by side throughout the entire game, eliminating any players they deem to be a threat. Here is a small sample of that tea. Something really odd happened after Beyonce left Destiny's Child and began to become close to Jay. Jay allegedly drew producer Richard Harrison away from burgeoning artist Amory, who was reportedly Beyonce's actual rival and was gaining a lot of traction at the time. Do you all recall Amory's popular song One Thing? That song shared Crazy and Love's wild, distinctive mood. Additionally, some fans continue to believe that Beyonce stole the entire recipe following Harrison's ship leap. Furthermore, it doesn't end there. Examine Carrie Hilson. She and Beyonce got into a public argument that went totally wrong. Rumor has it that Carrie's own producers intentionally set her up for humiliation and cancellation by tricking her into recording a diss track directed at Bey. Carrie initially denied it, but when she refused to hold a magazine cover featuring Jay-Z and Beyonce on it, the situation worsened. Do you wish to grasp the magazine? They inquired with Carrie Hilson. The Beehive went crazy when she refused. Carrie received harsh criticism from her admirers. Some are even confronting her in public. Behind the scenes, however, rumors began to circulate. Some claim that Beyonce may have orchestrated the entire situation. According to certain reports, by planted insiders and Cars team, people who arranged for her to record the diss track, while Beyonce played the helpless victim and kept her hands clean. And Carrie sort of confirmed that in an interview in 2020, years later, she acknowledged feeling under pressure to remove that song. Additionally, the threat she received later was quite genuine. That fallout wasn't merely sporadic, that was a dramatization of career sabotage.
It's the price you pay, you know, when You know, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder and they make threats. And those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this.
Furthermore, we cannot overlook Callis. She accused Beyoncé outright of stealing After Buy, sampled her well-known song Milkshake without giving her a single credit. This is when things get wild. Callis was unaware of it until she read about it online. Like everyone else, she learned about it on social media. I heard about this the same way everyone else did. Callis wrote on social media, "Nothing ever turns out as planned. Some of the individuals in this industry are soulless and dishonest, and they have deceived everyone later." Callis took to Instagram to provide a detailed explanation of the entire situation. Kelly herself said that it was more than just music, respect was at issue. There aren't many black female musicians in the business with actual clout. She noted, furthermore, a straightforward phone conversation might have resolved everything. Given all of the shared friends and personal connections, Kelly stated bluntly, "Getting in touch with me isn't that difficult, it's simply basic courtesy." But rather than offering an apology or acknowledging her mistake, Beyoncé silently took the sample away without saying anything. Just silence, no declaration, no responsibility. Next is Mia, a name that people no longer hear much about. But for all the wrong reasons, according to rumors. She was blackballed for allegedly declining Jay Z's overtures in interviews. Mia has been outspoken in her criticism of the industry's influential individuals who misuse their position to put up incoming, aspirational musicians in peril. Mia kept things easy for herself. She declined and turned to go. But there was a cost to that action. Mia made hints that turning away some people caused her career to be quietly pushed aside, and her reputation to be tarnished. The question is now quite evident after seeing how many people have come forward, including 50 Cent, Eminem, Callis, Mia, Jaguar, right? DMX, Beanie Sigel, and more. Are Jay Z and Beyoncé merely defending their business? Or are they actively undermining the competition in secret? Furthermore, this list isn't even comprehensive, despite popular belief. Please leave the name of anyone you believe we missed in the comments section right away. How do you feel about all of these claims? Are the Carters simply experts at concealing the chaos behind the scenes? Or are they truly untouchable? Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends about this video. Click that bell to ensure you don't miss a single one of the many crazy stories that reveal more about the music business. See you at the next.